Hey Internet, hey YouTube, this is Nate. You can also call me Nathan, please never call me Nathaniel, and welcome to PaliaWatch episode 4. For this episode, we're going to jump into the trailer itself, and I'm going to give some of my thoughts around things that I would expect or hope to see, and also open up a couple of topics around future discussions, kind of predicting or speculating on different aspects of the game. There's no music here because I'm going to be playing the trailer itself, and it's going to have most of the music. And again, it's pretty sparse. I'm still in my new house with basically nothing in it, so we're still waiting for our stuff to arrive from Germany. So until then, you get to see half of a curtain and a blank wall. Also, some pretty poor lighting. I don't have a front light to shine for now. But anyway, let's just jump into the trailer. And as I said, we'll pause occasionally, and I'll just talk about my thoughts and what I kind of expect based on the trailer, things that I've read, and what I would like to see in the game. And some of these topics we'll probably cover in more detail in the future. And with that, if you've liked so far these PaliaWatch videos, please give a like, comment below, tell me what you'd like to see covered in the future. And if you are going to plan on watch future videos, why not go ahead and click that subscribe button. But with that, let's jump into the trailer and my thoughts so far. Okay, so the first thing is, oh, hold on, that's like super loud. Let me turn the volume down a bit. That should be much better. Like already you get this kind of like feel, this like more tranquil atmospheric thing. And one of the thoughts that I've had is, if you think about like other MMORPGs, right? Exploration is a big part of MMORPGs, but what I'm very curious about is how it's going to be structured in an MMORPG that is much more focused on simulation and the crafting and designing elements rather than on the actual combat RPG elements. Because a lot of those games, they rely on gatekeeping through like levels and enemies becoming too hard. I'm very curious if that aspect gets in there, or if it's more like Breath of the Wild, where it truly is just like from the very beginning, free, open reign. You can kind of go everywhere. Very excited, curious to see how that part's going to get structured. We also see for the first little bit a lot of animals. I assume, and I think they've talked about hunting being an aspect of the game, so hunting will be a skill. I think it's been confirmed. We'll see when we go through the other developer questions, but I'm pretty sure that hunting will be a part of the game. So interesting, there'll be a wide variety of animals, see how that fits into that whole hunting crafting aspect. And now we see our placeholder first human. As you know in the story, humans are just arriving back into the world after being gone for a very long time. Again, idea of having this huge township, but in addition, you can see like all this other area, which is like totally unexplored so far. So really excited to see how the exploration part fits in. Also the town building. Will this town evolve over time, or are we seeing more or less the end of, or at least until there's like expansions and not with MMORPGs, it's not really DLC, but expansions, growth. How does the town grow? But anyway, we jump right back into the town. We see some of the characters. We'll go into more character detail later, but lots of different kinds of characters, lots of different character designs. You can see there's lots of other human people here now as well. You see this kind of like bartend central tavern area. And one thing that I thought about is, I don't know if you've ever played Final Fantasy XIV or a lot of these MMORPGs, there's often like these central hubs. Even if you play something like My Day at Portia, these central hubs where you go to get all of your quests and stuff like that. Looks like this tavern might very well be that type of place where oftentimes you're going to go to try to get your next, quest or your next thing or maybe job, something like that. Very curious how that gets factored in, how the questing, leveling up process goes. And you see this first little bit. So this first human's getting an introduction, getting their first map, and kind of starting to get familiar with the area. This is your first plot, very reminiscent of the Harvest Moon Stardew Valleys, where you basically start with just a bunch of crap, some tools, and a little bit of space, and you can see then this kind of evolution of the house over time. Again, very exciting part of a lot of these simulation games is being able to kind of see the growth going from this, very run down area to something that's you can be proud of, and self-sustaining and all this kind of stuff. So, and certainly, my guess is full customizability. I don't know if it's going to be at the level of some games where you can like design walls and shapes and stuff like that, but at least certainly all the things you see here, where you put treasure chests, walls, the gardens, that kind of stuff, I expect most of that's probably customizable to a pretty large degree, but we'll see when the game actually releases how much flexibility we actually get. See inside as well, similar. I mean, windows, paintings, furniture, all the kind of stuff you can fit. Very reminiscent of Animal Crossing here. Again, don't know yet what's going to be the level of customization, but I hope that it includes not just what you put in the rooms, but the rooms themselves to a certain degree. Again, we'll have to see how it works out in the end. Also would hope that in a lot of these games, you get to make a lot of stuff, but there's no practical use. I hope that they think about practical use of things. Like, I mean, storing stuff in your fridge is obvious, storing stuff in cupboards, but like, can you play musical instruments? Can you use everything in your house, or is all of it just for decoration? Would love to see a little bit more than what we sometimes get in a lot of these games, where a lot of it really is just pure show. Would be cool if there's a little bit more interactivity in some of the things you put into your home. I would guess this is very structured, right? Now you have the whole townspeople coming out to say hello, more humans, a robot, and again, more exploratory. So you kind of get this kind of first look into maybe the MMORPG side of things, where it's massively multiplayer part of it, where you see other players are going to be mining and chopping down trees and so on. And this is what, again, is the huge selling point of the game, is it's taking that simulation aspect, but then putting it into a structure that has largely been combat oriented with these massively multiplayer RPGs. So it'll be very interesting to see how a simulation game works in that context. The questions have been asked about things, I think we talked about this earlier. What about things like, is there going to be timers on rocks and on resource gathering? How do we ensure that like everybody isn't going to be, annoying each other with, taking all the resources and stuff like that. So let's see how that all plays out. But again, you kind of see this first look into like what it might look like when you're walking down the street and you see lots of people, doing their own thing here. You also see here, look, all of them had their names in green, kind of indicating they're part of the same group. And the question again comes up, what is group, resource gathering, hunting, all that kind of stuff? What does that look like? What can you do as a group that you can't do solo? Very interesting questions that I have around what does the actual group play of this game look like. So excited to explore that as well, to see how the devs kind of explore that. I mean, we've seen that before in things like, Stardew Valley multiplayer, or Harvest Moon, not as much, or not Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing not so much, because in Animal Crossing there's not really a lot you can do together. But if there really is like this true group questing, what does that look like in a simulation game? Very curious. You see also some paragliding, and then finally the title coming up. So again, not a ton yet, revealed in this trailer, but I think just enough to whet the appetite and to open up a lot of questions about what is this game going to be like when it's finally released, and how are they going to tackle all of these different questions. So a little bit of a short video. I thought it'd be good to kind of run through the trailer, give some thoughts, give the things that are kind of sparking in my mind about the game, the things I'm imagining. And again, I think it's dangerous. We don't want to like oversell a game that's not out yet, but certainly very excited to see what might come out of this game. Definitely looks promising from the trailer and from what the devs have talked about so far. But with that, we'll end. This has been Nate. Hope you've enjoyed episode 4 of PaliaWatch, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.